Good morning. I'd like you to please join me in our opening hymn, which is number 390, but we're not going to use books because it's very simple. It's 2 words, and we're going to repeat it several times until everyone's got it. Isabella's going to start playing it, and many of you may know it already, so join in right from the beginning. And as you pick it up, I'm going to be listening till everybody's joining, and we'll sing it through a couple of times. Okay, the words are Gaudiamus Hodie. Gaudiamus Hodie. Those are the only words. So stand as you're willing and able, and if you're home watching us or recording it later, sing along, but please stay on mute. Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus Hodie. Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus Hodie. Again. Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus Hodie. Gaudiamus, Gaudiamus Hodie.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Ken Buley-Neumar. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Huntington's hybrid Sunday service. It's good to be together. We are streaming live from multiple locations today, so please be patient with any technical mishaps you might see or hear. We're using Zoom's meeting format so we can all see each other. We're also streaming live on Facebook. So a big hello to all who are joining us there. We'd like to extend a special welcome today to the visitors who may be joining our service for the first time, as well as any newcomers who are returning. If you're new to our congregation and want to speak with somebody to learn more about us, please contact us by email at office@uufh.org. We'll put this information in the chat box during the service as well. Today's service is a special one. For years, Huntington was the home of an annual Pride celebration, and this congregation would host a breakfast, followed by a Pride celebration service. Then we would all meet and march in the Pride Parade down Main Street to Heckscher Park for an afternoon of family-friendly fun. When the parade was moved to another town, our tradition fell away. But this year, we are participating in what we hope will become a new old tradition. Thanks to the initiative and efforts of our very own Eric and Jim Rubin Perez, and with the proud sponsorship of the UUFH, we're following this morning's light breakfast and this special service with a family picnic at Mill Dam Park in Huntington from 1 to 4 p.m. If you didn't bring your lunch with you, please run home, grab a sandwich, or stop somewhere for a bag lunch, and join us at what we hope will be the first annual Huntington Family Pride Picnic. Know that whoever you are, whomever you love, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We have a few brief announcements this morning. We believe every person is creative. Join our new small group programming. Do you want to unlock your creativity? Are you interested in exploring the act of art, writing, sculpture, music, etc. as a spiritual practice? Join us for Creative Manners, a monthly creative journey for the 22-23 fellowship year. This small group programming is open to everyone from ages 10 to 110. No artistic experience is necessary. Creativity Matters will meet on the third Saturday of every month at 10 a.m. in the social hall here at the UUFH beginning in September. You can email Daniel Burby, our DRE, at rec@uufh.org to sign up. Another important announcement, there will be no live service next Sunday, July 3rd. Instead, we will make available a link to the recording of the General Assembly Sunday service taking place this Sunday afternoon. The link will be in this week's flash and on our website. In response to this week's Supreme Court decision, there will be a multi-faith vigil to mourn and commit to the future, held here tonight in Huntington. The vigil will take place at Park Avenue and Main Street at 7 p.m. And now, before we dive into our service, Reverend Deborah Hafner recorded a very heartfelt and important message regarding the recent Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. We're not going to discuss this much during this service today, but I did feel this was important enough for everyone to see Reverend Deborah's message.
Good morning, beloved. It is Friday morning, and I have just learned about the Supreme Court decision to overturn the Roe versus Wade decision and to deny that women have a protected right to abortion in the United States. It is a sad and scary day. This is personal to me. I have worked, as I told you a few weeks ago in my sermon on sexual justice, I have worked on these issues since I was 18 years old. I was a freshman in college when Roe was decided. And here I am now of grandmother's age watching this right being taken away and it being set up to take away other rights that are based on its constitutional right to privacy. We've already heard this morning Justice Thomas saying that this sets up the right to take away the right to birth control, to same-sex marriage, even to the right to make sexual decisions in the privacy of your own home. By the end of this month, 13 states will have overturned abortion. Their laws are just ready and waiting. There are another 13 states where abortion may become illegal, perhaps by the fall. And the impact will be felt hardest by people of color, by poor people who will desperately need support to travel to states where it will be legal. We live here in New York, where abortion is likely to remain legal, although we will need to be vigilant, for surely there are those who will be emboldened. So we have an opportunity, my friends. After today's sadness and grief and rage, I'm feeling all of those. We can look at what our congregation can do. See, our religion teaches that bodily autonomy is a religious principle, that abortion is always a moral decision, that forced childbearing is the sin, not an individual's decision to decide for themselves whether to continue a pregnancy to term. And so we need to organize, we need to work with like-minded congregations, like-minded people to see how we can support women in other states and what we can do. And I promise to do that with you. There's some things immediately we need to be, I'm gonna urge you to go to a website called Bans Off Our Bodies and put in your zip code and perhaps find a protest for this weekend, next week. I'll be posting some national websites that will be having vigils in the coming months for you. I'll do that next week. I hope you're working with our social justice people on Get Out the Vote, because that's what's going to save us. That's what's going to make the difference. The Supreme Court has just sent this back to the states, and we need to be involved and vigilant, and we need to make sure that people in states where it is hard to vote have the right to vote, the motivation to vote, the understanding of how to vote. So for today, I reach out to you with my prayers and know that I am with you. I urge you to show up, to speak your truth, to do it with enthusiasm. I know you, and I know we're in it for the long term. Blessings to each of you.
And now I invite you to relax into your bodies, quiet your minds as we breathe deeply together and settle into our time of worship.
Good morning. I am Rich Buley-Neumar, and I have not been up here in a long time. Please join me in saying our mission statement. The words are on the screen. In religious community, we nurture our individual spirits through caring for one another and helping to heal the world. And now, please join me in singing our intro, Common Ground, our Common Ground. The words also will be on the screen. On different roads we travel here to meet as one on common And the chalice lighting today is by our family. This is an excerpt from The Pride Flame by Linda Lee Franzen. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
For our time for all ages this morning, I hope that you will enjoy this very true story about a special family.
And tango makes 3. In the penguin house in the zoo, there are penguin families. Every year at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. 2 penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsay, noticed the 2 penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no eggs to sit on to keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat. Then Mr. Gramsay got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it, so each side stayed warm. Some days, Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days, it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back. Squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg's shell. And then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsay decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! They cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There, they snuggled together and, like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep.
Just a note, that actually is a true story. It occurred at the Central Park Zoo in New York City. So. Today's first reading is entitled Blessed Are the Queer by H.P. Rivers. Blessed are the wanderers seeking affirmation. Blessed are the worshipers praying from closets, pulpits, and pews and hardship. Blessed are the lovers of leaving family and familiarity, leaving tables where love is not being served. Blessed are those who stay. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the queer, disciples of truth, living, breathing, sacred, reflections of divine love. I invite us all now to sing Spirit of Life. Following the song, we'll enter into a few moments of silence and prayer. Remember that it is not about the perfection of silence, but the intention. Please join me in singing now. Today's pastoral prayer is titled, A Prayer for Rising to the Occasion by Laura Horton Ludwig. This week brought many assaults in the political arena on values that we hold dear. May this time of quiet be an opportunity to touch peace within ourselves, to tap new springs of courage, resolve, and hope. We know that none of us is alone and can hold all that must be held or do all that must be done. But may each of us be led toward that work which is ours to do. And as a community, may we feel our strength together and use it for the good as best we can. In this spirit, we name our concern for this land, for its people, and for the people of the world. We pray for all transgender people who are in constant fear of their safety and the safety of their families and loved ones. May they be well and safe, and may they be able to be true to who they are. May all who are moved to action in these times be clear and strong and compassionate in our response. For those worried about how they will pay for the costs of medical care, for those worried about access to medical care, including all the women around the world. For our planet and the ongoing climate crisis, we pray for an effective and creative action. May all who are moved to action in these times be clear and strong and compassionate in our response. We also hold all those tender personal concerns which are close to our hearts on this day. I invite you now to enter the names of any whom you would like to lift up in the care of this community, and I will read them aloud or simply hold them close to your heart in silence. During our Joys and Concerns recently, you probably have noticed, we've been experimenting with new ways to do the Joys and Concerns that will better integrate all the folks on Zoom and all the folks here in the main hall. Before service, if you have a joy or concern to share, you can email it to the office at office@uufh.org by Sunday at 8 a.m. It will be read aloud. People on Zoom will continue to be invited to share in their chat box. You may also write a joy or concern on a piece of paper and give it to the worship associate until the service begins. They were just slow to come. We do have a raising up of Eileen, Roz, Elliot, and Bill. That's it, right? Okay. All right. Under Joys and Concerns, we have thoughts of sympathy for Alice Link, who is mourning the death of her son, John, just 2 weeks ago. We also have a concern to be lifted up from Carolyn Durazo. She would like us to send love and support for a friend's mom, Annette Rodriguez, as well as their family, Fred, Sherry, Liana, and Jay, as they navigate the challenging new norm. We also have a joy. Our very own Daniel Burby and her fiancée, Beth, were married yesterday. So on to the split plate. Open Buffalo is a civic initiative to make major long-term improvements in justice and equity in the city of Buffalo, New York. Established in 2014, it's an unprecedented collaboration among a diverse group of partners and allies. Their mission is to advance racial, economic, and ecological justice. They do so through skill building, networking, network connecting, and activating leadership opportunities. Their goal is for all communities in Western New York to thrive free from discrimination and poverty. An empowered democratic society is key to a joyful, culturally rich community and a sustainable planet. You can send a check to our office or donate through the website as seen on your screen. You can also donate through the Venco app, which can be found on the App Store or on Google Play.
lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to, oh why can't well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to, why, oh why can't
Today's second reading is entitled Love, and it's from the website Enfleshed, Spiritual Nourishment for Collective Liberation. Love cannot be bought or sold. It does not make a profit. Love does not hide from truth. Love dies deep. Love takes on flesh. Love is queer. Love is platonic. Love is erotic. Love is asexual, and is from the love that confronts all evil. Love delights in pleasures. Love touches and weeps and flirts and feeds and creates. Love is risky. Love challenges systemic evil in all its forms. Love is simple, but not easy. Love rises up. Love apologizes. Love believes. Love corrects. Love holds all accountable. Love pays reparations. Love heals. Love tells its story. Love embraces everyone, every creature, every creation. It knows us intimately. It holds us collectively. Love transcends every boundary that seeks to confine it. It will not tolerate violence in its name. It does no harm. It only sets free.
We often hear the letters L.G.B.T.Q. and variations that include other letters like I, A, and one I've only recently seen, 2S. It is a string of letters that represents some of the many variations of how we can express our identity. They represent who we are on the outside, who we are on the inside, and how we choose to share our love. Often there's a plus at the end, because as more people become comfortable living as their authentic selves, out loud and proud, and telling the world who they really are, they sometimes identify as something or someone for whom there isn't already a letter on that list. For today, I'm not going to talk directly about each of those letters, because there is plenty of discussion about them online that you can look up, or if you need to ask your parents to help you, you can learn about them that way. Today, I'm going to talk about these letters, F, A, M, I, L, and Y. There's so much in the news right now about politics and laws regarding what our family should look like. We've come so far, and sometimes big progress comes with pushback. This morning, I want to celebrate our successes, look at our challenges, and talk about what might be ahead, one letter at a time. F is for family. Family is a word that can mean wonderful things. At the same time, though, for some who embrace one or more of those other letters, the word family can bring up difficult thoughts or emotions. To some people in our world, family means only one thing and looks only one way: a mom, a dad, and their children. In addition, those children are also expected to grow up to become moms who marry dads, or dads who marry moms, and have children of their own. To them, family means only people who you were born connected to, or married so that you could have more children. It is a sad truth that for many of us who are now my age or older, or even a little younger, it was not okay to say, I'm a man and I love another man and we want children. Or I am a woman, and whether I love a man or a woman, I don't want to have any children. And until pretty recently, in some cases, it was not even legal. Many people said that we were not okay, or we were broken, or we were sick, because to us, family meant something different. And very sadly, some of us have lost relationships with people in our birth families who said, no, I cannot accept you the way you are. So what does family mean to us? Well, speaking for myself, family is a group of people you belong to, and they belong to you. It is people you gather around you because you love or care about them deeply, you feel connected to them, and you want them in your life. These can be people connected by birth and your partner or spouse, but these are also people in your life who embrace you exactly as you are. In my family, there's Ken and me, our moms and our siblings and their children. They are our birth family. There are also our 5 sons, who were not born to either of us, but were adopted as teenagers because we chose them and they chose us. And there is a small group of friends we love who are like brothers and sisters to us, people who we would do anything for, and we know we can rely on them no matter what. These people are our chosen family. Ken and I are very lucky that we have both. We also consider this fellowship part of our extended family, because we know we are surrounded by people who love and support us, and we feel the same way about all of you. A is for acceptance. And the first people who have to accept us is us. I can tell you from experience, having fought locally and in our state capital for the right to become a family, that for some time I still felt that we were somehow different. We were a family because we had one, as if having what everyone else had was a prize. It made me still feel somehow different and not equal. It took a while before I stopped feeling that way and accepted that my family is family simply because it is. We say so. We have love and connection and devotion to each other just like any family. We go shopping, we feed the dogs, we pay the bills and our taxes, and we go to the movies or an occasional vacation just like any family. So now that I have accepted that we are family, what about everyone else? There have been times when I have felt some odd or questioning looks when we've gone somewhere with our sons. Because even with the visibility of families like ours for several years, we still stand out. So I often go into protection mode. I feel like we're about to be challenged in some way on who we are. And there are some areas of this country that I won't travel to today because I would not feel safe and accepted as a family. Places where being perceived as any of those other letters could put someone in danger of being picked on or persecuted or worse. There are many, many good and loving people, on the other hand, who make a point of remarking how much they embrace and admire families like ours. And don't get me wrong, it is so, so appreciated. At the same time, though, without realizing it, that perpetuates the feeling that our family, while being accepted, is still exotic, unique, something other than the norm. It's a fine line to tread to congratulate someone for achieving something that everyone else already has. I've never resented anyone's kind words or well wishes, and I'm looking forward to the celebratory picnic this afternoon after the service. But I also hope for the day that our family is seen as no different from any other family, that we and families like ours don't have to seek out or hope for acceptance, but are accepted at face value with no special notice at all. M is for marriage. On June 26, 2015, the United States Supreme Court, the biggest court in our country, struck down all the state bans on same-sex marriage. What a day of celebration that was. After fighting for so long, finally, any consenting adult across the country could marry the person they loved. This meant that in New York, in Florida, in Utah, in Alaska, in all the other states, no matter what their laws used to be, they could no longer prevent people who identified as the same gender from marrying each other. Finally, men could marry men, and women could marry women, anywhere in the U.S. Marriage equality was a long, hard fight, with years of people protesting and marching, writing to their senators and congresspeople and making sure they voted for people who supported this change. Once again, what should have been a right afforded to everyone all along became a prize that we had to finally win. So it would seem like this means that we can now just relax and enjoy our families, but not so fast. Ever since that day, there have been those who would not accept this ruling and tried to undo it. Kimberly Davis of Kentucky became famous because her job was to give licenses to people who wished to get married, and she refused to do her job and give them to same-sex couples. She said that her religious beliefs told her she should not give the licenses out, and that was more important than the law. She spent 5 days in jail because of this. But there are plenty of people who still cheer her as a hero. They say that her discrimination of gay people, which she blames on God, gives her the right to treat them badly. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We have affirmed that everyone should have the same rights, and that includes, of course, the L.G.B.T.Q.I.A.2S+ people and community. It's part of our religion that it is wrong to discriminate against anyone, and we have to be vocal about this when people start talking about denying rights to others because their religion tells them that they must. Then, just 2 days ago, we found out that the Supreme Court had overturned a case called Roe versus Wade. Reverend Deborah talked about it this morning. We won't talk about the specifics of what that case means. Not today. But for this service, the important part is that this was a federal settled law for more than almost 50 years. And now, instead of having one law for the whole country, each state gets to make their own decisions about this subject. And that's important because already there have been states that have jumped on the chance to take away anyone's rights because of it. It has divided the country into some states where people feel safe and others where they don't. And now that this one law has been overturned, the Supreme Court thinks that they should start looking at other federal laws they might overturn. Just like the one I mentioned a few moments ago, marriage equality. Once again, there are states that are just waiting for the chance to say, no more. You don't have the same rights here. You are not equal here. And that leads us to the next letter. I is for inequality. New York has seemed like a pretty safe place for us for some time. New York City's Stonewall Inn is considered the birthplace of the modern L.G.B.T. rights movement in 1969. But it wasn't until 2019, only 3 years ago, that New York banned conversion therapy, where children who do not identify as straight are psychologically tortured into trying to change who they are. That same year, the gay or trans panic defense for committing a crime against someone simply because somehow you feel threatened by how they identify themselves was banned only 3 years ago. And it was only 8 years ago, in 2014, that on official documents such as birth certificates and driver's licenses, someone could declare their gender to be different from the one that was assigned to them at birth. So for all the progress and protections we feel we might have, much of it is pretty recent. Folks who identify with the other letters have not had equal rights for very long. And those rights are still incomplete. Even so, I am grateful that I live in a state where the laws support equality. But there are laws now in Texas that allow child protective agencies to investigate parents for child abuse if they support their children or allow them to express their gender diversity. And in Florida, just 3 months ago, the governor signed what has become known as the Don't Say Gay bill, a law that says teachers can't talk about sexual orientation or gender identity in classes from kindergarten through 3rd grade. But it's pretty clear what that law really means. Because while no one has ever had a problem with talking about Cinderella or Snow White or Sleeping Beauty or Rapunzel being rescued and running off to marry their princes, or even Belle falling in love with the Beast, you can't talk about families with 2 dads and 2 moms, or tell kids, to quote the governor of Florida, that kids can be whatever they want to be. And right after that law was signed, more than a dozen other states proposed laws just like it. Equality should not be a fragile thing or an outrageous idea, but for some it still is. We adults have to keep our eyes on the laws and be vigilant if it appears that they are changing. In line with our UU values regarding social justice, we have to be ready to use our voices and our votes to preserve equality for ourselves and our families. L is for love. So what is love? Love has been described as liking someone a lot, or feeling butterflies in your stomach when you're near them, when you're near somebody, or really wanting to be close to them all the time. Love is associated with big red hearts on cards and cupids and lace on Valentine's Day. But is that really love? All those things can be signs of love or connected to love, but they are not love. Love is hard to define because it involves emotions, behaviors, and decisions all rolled into one. Just having warm, fuzzy feelings is not enough, nor is buying someone chocolates, although that is a nice thing to do. Love is beyond just feelings. It's beyond emotional attachment or need or dependence. It's beyond attraction or passion or desire. Real love is a decision you make with your whole being. It is deep, unbreakable bond, a commitment. It is deeply personal, and it can only be decided by each and every one of us separately and individually. So why are there those who say that not everyone's able or allowed to love whomever they choose? How can anyone decide, for example, that I can't possibly love my husband because we're both men? I propose that it's because of a lack of understanding of what love really means. Some equate love, in the most multi-gen way that I can think to put it, as who you really want to kiss and hug and hold hands with, in public and in private. For some reason, seeing two men kissing, or knowing that two women have bought a house and are living together, makes some people very uncomfortable. Sometimes that discomfort turns into hatred. How backwards is that? They want to show us that their love is better than our love by hating us. And again, some use their religion to excuse their expressions of hatred. And because they are uncomfortable or even hate us, they want to stop us from loving each other by protesting us, by hurting and sometimes killing us, and by making laws against us. Love is love. Love doesn't belong exclusively to anyone, to any religion, to any class or creed or color. No one should get to create rules about what love should be or who can have it. It's up to us to keep loving, especially when we see the hatred, and not ever give up. Finally, Y is for yes. Families with members who identify as L.G.B.T.Q.I.A.2S+, or any other letter, should feel empowered to live openly and proudly. We should feel comfortable. We should feel safe and accepted and welcome. We should feel able to love whomever we choose. We should acknowledge and embrace and support each other, always. So I want to end this talk with some empowerment. Whether you are part of the community or an advocate or ally, when I point to you, if you agree with what I'm saying, I want you to reply with a nice, loud yes. And for those at home who are on mute, yell at your devices and your monitors and type it into the chat box. Ready? Yes. F is for family. There are all kinds of families, and whether they are by birth or by choice, we all have the right to a family. Yes! A is for acceptance. We should all be accepted for who we are, who we say we are, and how we present ourselves. Yes! M is for marriage. We are all entitled to the same rights and responsibilities that come with marriage, including the right to build our own families as we see fit. Yes. I is for inequality. We must call out inequality wherever we see it, and we will fight it and do our best to assure that everyone is treated equally and fairly. Yes. L is for love. Love is love. Love is love. And furthermore, love is love. Yes. May it be so. Yes. And one for good measure. Yes!
It's always hard to follow my husband. I am so blessed to be in a marriage with my husband and to share love and all of those things. So today, as Rich extinguishes our chalice this morning, I leave you with this benediction. It's called the Rainbow Blessing, and it's written by Cricket Hall. May the drag stage rise to meet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported and your dead name forgotten. May those of you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it. May you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not a weakness, but instead it is a great strength welling up inside you. Until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and you are divine. May it be so.
Thank you, Isabella. If there's any breakfast left, please grab it and take it along with you to the Family Pride Parade at picnic. I'm so used to saying pride and parade in a row. And those at home are welcome too, 1 p.m. at Mill Dam Pond. Thank you, everybody.